Well, just given what one sees on camera, if you're too drunk for Fox News, you're very, very drunk indeed. So that's alarming. In 1989, President George H.W. Bush nominated John Tower, senator from Texas, for Secretary of Defense. Now, Tower was a very considerable person, a real defense intellectual, someone who deeply understood defense, unlike the current nominee. And it emerged that Tower had a drinking problem. And when he was drinking too much, he would make himself a nuisance or worse to the women around him. And for that reason, his nomination collapsed in 1989. You don't want to think that our moral standards have declined so much that you could say, let's take all the drinking, all the sex pesting, subtract any knowledge of defense, subtract any leadership, and there's your next Secretary of Defense for the 21st century.
Before we go to break, a little bit earlier in this block, there was a comment made about Fox News in our coverage about Pete Hegseth and the growing number of allegations about his behavior over the years and possible addiction to alcohol or issues with alcohol. The comment was a little too flippant for this moment that we're in. We just want to make that comment as well. We want to make that clear. We have differences in coverage with Fox News, and that's a good debate that we should have often. But right now, I just want to say there's a lot of good people that work at Fox News who care about Pete Hegseth, and we'll want to leave it at that.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. We got to talk about Joe Scarborough and Mika Brzezinski following a whole lot of liberal backlash for these two kissing the ring of Trump, right? According to the critics, right? Because they went to Mar-a-Lago. They visited Trump at Mar-a-Lago to have a conversation with him after he landslided Kamala Harris in the election. The far-left lunatics got upset. They got mad about it, right? And then a couple of days ago, they essentially apologized to Fox News because some leftist lunatic was on their show talking out of his neck, right, on this unhinged rant about Pete Hegseth and his alleged drinking problem, right? And Mika Brzezinski and Joe Scarborough decided, hey, you know, maybe that's a little out of bounds, right? Maybe we should not be talking about a vet's alleged drinking problem in such a reckless way, right? This is not journalism. This is gossip. Maybe we shouldn't do that. And the left-wing lunatics got upset. They got pissed off at Joe Scarborough, okay? And they addressed some of the criticism that they had been receiving yesterday in this rant from Joe Scarborough, who clearly is not having a great time dealing with the backlash that he and his wife have been receiving for their little pivot here. Take a look.
You know what? People are upset with some of our guests, some of our friends. Maybe we snuck up on them too fast. Maybe we should have given them more of a warning. Whatever, it's fine. But guess what? The main complaint was that we called Donald Trump's rhetoric fascist during the campaign. And then we went down to have an off-the-record comment with him. Guess who else does that?
Let me see. From the New York Times,
the New York
Washington
Times,
Post, the Wall Street. You know what? I even think folks from the Atlantic.
I think actually,
I think they might
probably
be doing that.
If they have a chance to talk on the background with the incoming president and president-elect, they would do it. In fact, as somebody wrote during this outrageously stupid, immature series of articles that lied time and time again about us, reporter said, well, I'd be fired.
Yeah, so you see that, you heard that. Now, this response clearly was not enough, okay, because the critics are still upset and mad at Mika Brzezinski for visiting Trump at Mar-a-Lago.
I just want to be as clear as I possibly can. We ain't kissing no Trump MAGA ass.
Come on now.
We ain't kissing no ring. We ain't bowing down to nobody. I told y'all what happened when he had a meeting with the TV anchors and I was invited to it. And they invited me to 3 of them. I made 2 of them. Biden people never invited me to 1. Just saying. So Trump walks in. You know, normally when the president, I don't call him the president. The president walks in, everybody stands up, they move to him. Everybody move to him. I like that Simpsons meme. I fell backwards. So I was standing there and I was sitting there going, I was like, well, I ain't gonna call his ass Mr. President because he ain't got no respect for the office, so I can't call him President Trump. Not gonna happen. And I was like, I can't call his ass Mr. Trump. So I'm like, damn, what I'm gonna say when he. So he's shaking everybody's hand, and he get to me, he stick his hand out. Hi, good to see you. Good to see you. I went, hi.
Damn.
That was it.
You didn't even touch it.
That was it. I wasn't about to sit here and call him by no title because he didn't have any respect for the office. So I'm not gonna call you by the title of the office. I'm not gonna do it. So yeah, unlike Joe and Mika and Morning Joe, we ain't kissing no Trump ass. I ain't going to Mar-a-Lago. We ain't sitting down. He gonna be talking to Kristen Welker. We already know how that interview is gonna go. He gonna run over her like a freight train.
No question.
But just as Rebecca said, if y'all want honest conversation about the truth, about what these yahoos are gonna do 2 blocks from us, I'm telling you right now, when they come in here with their carnage, somebody has to speak truth about what they are doing, and that's gonna be us. And we ain't gonna apologize for it, and we ain't gonna bow down to nobody, we ain't kissing nobody, but it's not gonna happen because you have to call out evil when you confront evil. That sign back there, what is it? It's by Ida B. Wells Barnett. It's right there. And this is her famous quote where she said,
Yeah, so what I love the most about this is not just the fact that the left has turned on Joe Scarborough and Mika Brzezinski, right? They get a whole lot of backlash there, but they have nowhere to run to, right? It's not like they are running to the right, running to conservatives, and conservatives are embracing them. No. They're also catching strays from conservatives as well, too, because Joe Scarborough used to be a conservative, even though he still claims to be one. He knows he's not, right? I mean, this guy went out of his way to criticize Doge, and Rand Paul went off on Joe Scarborough for basically pushing back against something that conservatives are supposed to believe in, which is more efficient government and less wasteful spending.
I want to play this from Joe Scarborough today, because this is the mentality that you're going to hear, I think, from a lot of members who are very reliant on the spending, the lobbyists, the pharmaceutical companies, the people who give them a lot of money for their campaigns. Watch this.
The United States government has already spent 80% of its budget on Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, vets, defense, and interest on the debt. This is a scam unless they're going to slash Social Security and Medicare and and Veterans Affairs. They're never going to get to $2 trillion.
Can't be done. Can't be done, Senator. What do you say?
Oh, poor Joe Scarborough. I remember when he was a conservative. You know, when he was a conservative Republican, he actually voted against expanding Medicare into Medicare Part D, this extra part to make Medicare bigger because he thought it might bankrupt the country. Yep. So there was a time when he actually was a thoughtful person, but no longer. Now, there is a sliver of a truth in the sense that, yes, entitlements are a lot of the spending, but to say entitlements are a lot of the spending, therefore we're not going to look at waste is the excuse we hear all the time. Oh, we're not going to look at this spending because if you get rid of all waste, it won't balance the budget. Well, why don't we start by getting rid of the $750,000 that was spent feeding cocaine to Japanese quail to see if they were more sexually promiscuous on cocaine. Maybe Joe would agree with getting at least that, get rid of that.
Unbelievable. Yeah, and the idea that these programs can't have a little bit of analysis, you know, where you find some waste in them. If every agency had the responsibility to say, okay, you know, show us what you have. Show us what you can get rid of that isn't going to, you know, cut to the bone and people will still get the benefits that were promised to them. Show us where there's fraud and find some ways to save some money.
Yeah. Yo, I don't know why. I just find this story to be hilarious to me. Again, mainly because they have nowhere to run, right? Like, they have no allies whatsoever. Nobody's on their side right now. Nobody is defending them. They're catching it from everybody. Everybody. Usually when, you know, somebody in the media gets some backlash, something, right, they have somewhere to run, right? They have supporters, okay? They have people they can go to and say, hey, protect me, okay? That's not the case with Joe Scarborough and Mika Brzezinski. It's just so funny to me because these people, they used to be centrist, okay? They used to lean right, and they decided that after Trump, right, they basically backstabbed Trump because they used to be friends with Trump as well, too, back in the day. And after, you know, Trump became president, they turned on him. They went full-blown Trump derangement every single day, right? And, you know, they got in bed with the progressive left, and that has backfired, right? You can say that for certain. It has backfired. It could be the end of their show, right? I'm so serious. And at least for today, following that rant from Joe Scarborough, he's off air, right? Him and Mika Brzezinski were absent from the lineup, okay? But, you know, apparently, you know, they're headed to Arkansas to interview Bill Clinton, okay? Hopefully they don't get any backlash from that. We'll see, right? But yeah, I mean, hey, they're not on the show after that rant. We'll see if they'll be back Monday. But again, this is not the first time that they have been absent following some controversy, right? Like, for example, they were pulled off air earlier this year after the assassination attempt on the former president. They were pulled off air, okay, in which, you know, Joe Scarborough got upset about that and threatened to quit if MSNBC pulled him off air again.
Would have been in yesterday morning.
Yeah, I was here up early on Sunday morning with NBC's coverage. Savannah and I led the coverage on Sunday in the immediate aftermath, talking to eyewitnesses, talking to officials about what happened. Obviously suited up and ready to go for yesterday morning on a big morning, and we're told that something else was going to be broadcast. So we are here today going through a lot, catching up a little bit, but we want to be here for our audience, and we know you trust us, and we have ultimate respect for you guys. So we are here today. I wish we'd been here yesterday.
Yeah, we all wish we would have been here yesterday. We still would like to figure out exactly why there wasn't that one news feed.
And I think the reason why is this show began and continues 17 years later on being the place where you can go to have the hard conversations in a civil way. And so it seemed like now more than ever is a time that we would like to be on. And I think our viewers agree with that. So we continue. We are 5 minutes past the top of the hour.
No, and let me just say, next time we're told there's going to be a news feed replacing us, we will be in our chairs.
We'll be sitting here.
Yeah, and the news feed will be us, or they can get somebody else to host the show.
Which might happen, right? That might actually happen because the ratings for MSNBC have collapsed to embarrassing weekly lows. Okay, so let's read here because they've essentially lost almost all of their audience, and it continues to get worse and worse and worse. Fox News Channel averaged 1.4 million total day viewers and 2 million during prime time to dominate cable news last week, while executives at MSNBC and CNN didn't have much to be thankful for, as both networks hit a plethora of historic viewership lows. CNN had its lowest rated week among total viewers since June 2001 during the week of November 25th, averaging only 268,000 compared to 1.4 million for Fox News. MSNBC managed 346,000 average total viewers, thumping CNN in the category despite dramatic viewership woes and other measurables. It was much of the same during prime time as MSNBC averaged 465,000 total viewers, while CNN only drew 297,000 as both networks finished with less than half of Fox News audience combined. Yeah, so basically Fox News is dominating the amount of people that are watching cable news, right? So out of all the people watching cable news, a vast majority of them have turned to Fox News, right? And that's because they're not being Trump deranged 24/7, okay? Despite a busy news cycle, CNN had a smaller average audience from 8 to 11 p.m. than 29 other cable networks, including Bravo, TV Land, Freeform, Investigation, Discovery, FX, Food Network, and History. Yeah. Yo, CNN is struggling so much. There's like literally nobody watches CNN. It's absolutely, it's humiliating. It really is. Since President-elect Donald Trump's election day victory, Fox News holds 73% of the cable news audience in primetime, as MSNBC and CNN's audiences have seen viewers tune out the news. CNN had its lowest rated week among the key demographic of adults aged 25 to 54 in nearly 30 years, averaging a dismal 41,000 viewers from the group coveted by advertisers. But MSNBC was even worse in the critical demographic. But MSNBC was even worse in the critical category, averaging only 29,000 total day viewers among the demo. MSNBC had a smaller audience among the demo than 36 other cable options, including Nickelodeon, Disney Channel, E!, the Cartoon Network, Oxygen, MTV, Hallmark Mystery, and a pair of Lifetime networks. It was MSNBC's worst week among the demo since November 1997. Wow. Yeah. So, this is bad. This is really, really, really bad. During primetime, Fox News averaged 237,000 demo viewers compared to only 51,000 for CNN, which finished behind 33 different cable options. MSNBC managed only 37,000 average primetime demo viewers to finish number 43rd among cable outlets. It was MSNBC's lowest rated week in the category since December 1997. Yeah, so they're hitting new lows, right? At some point, I'm not sure how much lower they can go. Who knows? Maybe one day they'll hit 0 viewers, right? 0 viewers for the day. Okay. So yeah, as you can see here, Morning Joe collapsing, MSNBC collapsing, CNN collapsing. All of these things are happening after the election, and it is glorious. I am absolutely loving the liberal media implode, right? They're literally eating each other into non-existence, and I absolutely love it. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.